It was supposed to be just another Tuesday for Vincent Hail, a billionaire whose ambition was as sharp as his business instincts. He was heading to inspect a new factory on the outskirts of the city, a place most of his partners wouldn't bother with. But fate, as it often does, had a detour in mind. As his luxury car navigated a dusty road alongside a massive landfill, a foul stench crept in. Vincent wrinkled his nose, telling his driver to speed up. But then, something caught his eye. Something that made his blood run cold. There, amidst heaps of garbage and broken glass, sat a woman in a tattered blue maid's uniform. She was clutching a small, crying boy, her face a canvas of dirt and tears. And then recognition hit him like a physical blow. It was Maria, his maid. The woman who had served him breakfast every morning with a quiet smile, never once complaining. Now, she was here, in this wasteland, holding her child as if the world had collapsed around them. Before the car even came to a complete stop, Vincent threw the door open. He stumbled down the muddy slope, his expensive shoes sinking into the filth. "Maria," he called out, his voice cracking with disbelief. She looked up, her eyes wide with shock. For a long, silent moment, they just stared at each other. She tried to stand, but her legs gave way. The little boy, seeing his mother's distress, buried his face in her chest and wailed. Vincent knelt beside them, completely ignoring the dirt, the smell, the utter desolation. The only thing he could see was her pain, raw, human, and unbearable. Over the next few hours, in the quiet sterility of a hospital room, the story spilled out. Maria had worked for him faithfully for 2 years. Then she vanished. His assistant had simply said she'd quit, leaving a short note. He hadn't given it a second thought. In his world, people came and went. But her reality was a nightmare. Her husband had died suddenly, leaving her with crippling debt. In her desperation, she borrowed from a loan shark to cover the funeral and her son's medical bills. When she couldn't repay, the threats began. Her landlord kicked her out. With nowhere to turn, she ended up in the landfill, scavenging for scraps just to keep her little boy Theo alive. Vincent's heart felt like a lead weight in his chest. He could greenlight a multi-million-dollar deal without batting an eye. Yet one of his own employees had been suffering this unimaginable fate right under his nose. He had been completely blind. He personally lifted Maria and Theo into his car and drove them to the best hospital in the city. For days, he was a constant presence by their side. He watched as doctors treated their injuries and malnutrition. He saw the first flicker of a smile return to little Theo's face. And he listened to Maria's soft, repeated apologies for causing him trouble. Each time, he would gently stop her. The trouble, he now understood, was his own ignorance. One evening, as the sun set, painting the city skyline in hues of orange and purple, Vincent stood at the hospital window, lost in thought. For his entire life, he had measured success in numbers, profits, properties, acquisitions. But as he watched Maria tenderly stroke her son's hair, he saw the profound emptiness of it all. What good was an empire if it was built on a foundation of indifference? That night, he made a vow. He founded the Maria Hope Trust, a foundation dedicated to helping domestic workers facing abuse, debt, or homelessness. He built shelters, funded medical care, and provided educational opportunities for their children. Maria, with her first-hand experience and deep empathy, became one of its first coordinators, guiding others out of the darkness she knew so well. Slowly, her real smile, the one he remembered from his mansion, returned. But the moment that truly redefined Vincent's life came one afternoon when little Theo toddled into his office. The boy handed him a crayon drawing. It depicted 3 figures: Vincent, Maria, and Theo holding hands in a bright green field under a smiling sun. Beneath the drawing, in a child's shaky handwriting, were the words, "Thank you for finding us." Vincent stared at the simple drawing, and for the first time in years, tears welled in his eyes. Had closed thousands of deals, celebrated countless victories. But this piece of paper, this simple act of gratitude, was the greatest return on investment he had ever received. From that day forward, Vincent changed. He made it a point to meet every single one of his employees, to listen to their stories, to ensure no one in his organization ever felt invisible again. His once cold and silent mansion was now filled with laughter. Maria was no longer his maid. She was a leader, managing the foundation. And Theo? He was in a good school, his future bright with possibilities. When people asked Vincent what prompted such a dramatic change, he would simply smile and say, "Because one day I found someone in a place no human should ever have to be. And in finding them, I found myself, too." This story is a powerful reminder that the richest people aren't those with the most money, but those with the courage to care. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it to help spread this message of compassion. And don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that restore our faith in humanity.
8.
Thank you for watching.